Well, how's it going, Kingsman? Welcome back to the Napoleonic Total War 3 battlefield. Today, we have another clan battle between the RC and Napoleonic clan. This is on the map of Friedland, which, man, I actually love this map. Not sure what it is about this map. Maybe it's that there's a picturesque town that's, like, in the background. Church steeples and buildings outlining the background. Then you have a bunch of soldiers fighting in these wheat fields with a bunch of rivers. And like tree line. It's a very pretty area, okay? It's a very gorgeous area. This is somewhere I've never seen, guys. I've never seen something this beautiful. Because I live in a desert where the only thing that's green is weeds. But no, this would be a very beautiful spot. Obviously, probably not an ideal place, and probably a lot of these soldiers would have PTSD about this area after the battle. But we are back at it. Now, today we have the corps from 1806. As you can see, we are following the coalition played by the, I believe, the RC clan. And the Napoleonics are playing the French. On the French side, you have the 13-point Brunswick, which I believe is Prussia. Then you have a 12-point Bagration, a 9-point Gorbachev, and then a 4-point Essen, which is right here. Actually, a Swedish army. I forgot about that part. 4-point Swedish army. On the other side, it is a 4-point La Romana. I assume that is not the French. It's probably this Spanish army right here. Then you have a 12-point Murat, 12-point Davout, and 10-point Soult. So some very high-point French armies on the field. Obviously, both sides have brought a 4-pointer. I'm curious how they'll use a 4-pointer in this battle, but this area right here usually could be a hot contest here. A lot of hills on each side. A lot of places for artillery to set up and have free reign of open fields. Now, of course, you have, like I said, the French in a preparatory advance. I'm not sure if they're planning on going all the way across. They have sent a contingent of skirmishers and infantry across, probably some square bulls to defend their skirmishers who are pushing forward. And then, of course, you have some Gussaries on the opposite side of this hill. Probably going to get some fire received. Unless they dip out of there, this French may actually get a shot. There's Murat. I'm assuming that's Murat. That looks like Murat. A lot of dragoons, man. France. I mean, Russia's needs to fall back here, and I think he's going to get himself out of there just in the nick of time. It does look like the coalition is going central. Maybe their plan is to try to focus down this 4-pointer who is all by themselves. I'm assuming the other French armies are over here for the most part. Maybe there's one more French army way over here. Not totally sure where the other French army is. But either way, you can see most of the coalition is focusing in this direction. There's a nice little area here that they can hold with artillery, and it's got a lot of river control. It's got a lot of funneled kill zones and high ground. Now, of course, with Murat coming up on the open field, man, look at all the cav. Oh wow, look at all those dragoons. Not even crosshairs, guys, just dragoons. Oh, that's a cool looking dragoon unit. Oh man, looks just absolutely beautiful. The thing is, though, France will be able to take shelter in these kind of inlets, these valleys of sorts. There's some grenadiers, per se. It does look like the far flank is being garrisoned. And Brunswick's still pushing. Prussia's still pushing on the flank. You have your central Bagration. I'm not sure where Gorchekov is going. Like I said, maybe there is a French army way over here. I'm just missing it. They seem to be centralizing in the town. Oh, looks like we may have our first cavalry engagement. Yeah, some Guisards got caught by Dragoons. It will probably be over for them pretty quick, unfortunately. Or not, maybe he's going to get away. Wow, they're being hotly pursued here. But they are faster. Look at these two guys in the back. They're just like, oh no, wait for us, guys. But now they're starting to get a little bit more cav support. But still, it's obvious that Murat is really starting to push, get very aggressive here, have a nice open field of play here. Even Sweden's have to pull to the bank because I'm sure they're going to be worried about, you know, the flank here. But we do have artillery setting up, skirmishers starting to fire here, and France forming up in a line of battle. Now, obviously, France is also pushing down this road, and you have no idea where the rest of the French army is going to push. They probably will go for a flank, I would assume, which is probably why Prussia is pushing so hard on this flank here. Still seeing a massive amount of cavalry. In fact, we are seeing another clash here. More French cav going in for some skirmishers, some cavalry trying to go for anything they can.
Sir! Sir! Our general is under attack!
Ooh, actually, we have some cavalry looking to be maybe sneaking in. Oh, no, man. Not really. It's very nice, though. I barely see the Russians through the smoke. Alright, so you can see the French definitely are trying to get as much free ground as possible. Now we do have, it looks like a, let's see, some cuirassiers, some dragoons. The artillery even shifting back this way, so they may be trying to set up a line. Coalition do still control the entirety of this bank. We'll see, they obviously have to hold this town as well. Kind of use that as the anchor point. And then they're going to try to hold, I'm assuming, this river line all the way around, and then the wraparound here. It's like a fish hook. So it kind of reminds me of Gettysburg, I should say. It's like a couple losses here by these Voltigeurs. France still just pushing across, letting those skirmishers kind of take up the fire. Not a lot of artillery from either side engaging yet, so I'm a little curious. Let's see, what is this, Ulani? Who's facing off against them? We got some dragoons pushing across over here, trying to protect probably the Spanish army that's trying to pull back towards them. Only thing that's been firing has been this horse artillery, and for some reason it sounds a little bugged out. A massive amount of reserves here, though. I mean, Prussia has brought a lot of troops that haven't even engaged in the fight. Yeah, I'm assuming this is going to be, yep, troops in the town. Russia has definitely garrisoned this town. Probably feeling pretty safe. I mean, quite honestly, guys, oh, that's a beautiful position for the horse artillery. Nothing can get across this river except through the bridge. So these guys can actually have some pretty free reign. Although, I feel like this hill, they could be a little closer. Yeah, I feel like they should be up here. They're kind of on the back side of the hill. I'm trying to go for a gen snipe on what I can only assume is... Well, I actually don't know who that is. I thought maybe it was Murat. We're starting to see skirmishers pulling back in some Prussian lines getting engaged here. I'm actually hearing some shooting happening over here. What happened? Looks like some cavalry got engaged with the French. Now another cav charge. Ulani going in, getting a nice charge off on some light French cav. Now France is going to try to flank them with some more hussars. and both sides will pull out without having too much of a loss. But Prussia, I mean, they're sitting right here, and they're trying to catch these guys out. Now he's going to try farming up these guys. Let's see if they form a square. More artillery now setting up some 12-pounders as France seems to be going straight for the town here. You can see that church steeple is kind of like their seems maybe that's their goal. They're getting straight for that. Yep, we have another French army here. Now there is artillery that's going to get a beautiful flank on them, but they seem to be ignoring. They're ignoring this hard, fast position for the most part that Russia was making, which I think the coalition realized that. So they are actually shifting the bulk of their forces back towards the town of Friedland. But maybe the French will get there first. I mean, quite honestly, this is a pretty large force that France has marching down this beach. I guess this embankment. Now there's artillery hammering this corner. And Russia, obviously, I mean, they're just gotta play a little catch up. They can pull their troops back to here. They could even push across and threaten the entire flank here. Let me see if I can fix this sound, because it just keeps being an annoyance. They made it worse. Yeah, it'll come back, I guess. I feel like at some point it always comes back. It just will be broken for a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm going to do a clean install of NTW3 again. But my goodness, there's a lot of French infantry rolling towards this town. This is probably a Davout or Soult. Or, not probably, it is. It's a Davout or Soult, or maybe both. There's some light infantry pouring some fire across the river now. Gorbachev, he's going to have to face off against the French. I'm not seeing a lot of support yet. I mean, Bagration's still pushing as quickly as possible. I mean, so is probably Brunswick. But at the same time, you know, do you give up such a strong, hard, fast position here with all this artillery? Or do you stand your ground there? Because Spain's going to come crashing in at some point, and then you can see the rest of the French army just... They're trying to go straight in. Now, they got to realize they're going for a melee against Russia. Now, I can't remember the 1806 scores, how good Russia is on that one. I guess we'll find out pretty quick here, because things are looking to be about to start off. I was surprised Russia didn't get some troops more troops across the river to kind of get some flanking fire here. Although, man, France is tearing them up. Even these skirmishers got just absolutely demolished. You can see the French troops in the smoke. They got their grenadiers in the LOC. And here goes that first assault. Now they are getting shot at as they're advancing to that LOC. That's going to be helpful for this Russian defense. Alright, everybody's still shifting. This is going to be a fight for a town. If you guys are ready for a town fight, well then, you know, buckle down. If you're not, then you better get ready, because I think it's about to start here. Now, I'm sure it'll be some volleys at first, but I mean, France is going to probably have to try to get some... You know, they're going to have to get into melee here if they want to take this. It looks like they're going to rush forward maybe for the house. But good luck. This house, guys, I think the entrances... Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. This street is just slaughtering them already. They're taking so many losses. Look at the death. Looks like a cavalry unit did break. Maybe going for artillery piece, I'm not totally sure. We have Spain pushing on the flank. just a portion of the Prussians are going to shift over to the side. They have artillery that can help them out. But like I said, the most of the forces are going to be going here. It does look like France kind of branching out in multiple places here. They are pulling back the LOC. That's one tough fight. Now, France did pull cavalry across here, so the horse artillery may be in danger. The Gusari is probably going to be in danger as well, as they're going to get charged. Musketeers even may be in danger, as they're going to get charged. Now, they could do a shot in the flank. This may actually be devastating to this French cavalry unit if they fire in time. Alright, they dropped a couple. Not enough to break them. And unfortunately, that'll be it for them, as dragoons descend upon their flank and just start cutting them up. And France has secured that flank. I'm assuming this is a decent amount of Murat going across this little, crossing here. So France using the terrain to their advantage quite well. Sweden defending the flank here. Bagration pushing across, can probably use this bridge to reinforce this flank, as France has obviously already taken a portion of the town. Not taking the LOC yet. France not taken or even pushed the Russians' first line, but they're going to probably try to push across here, maybe try to get flanking fire and force them into this half of the town, maybe, using superior firepower. They seem to be avoiding trying to engage them too much and just trying to go for the town. That is a different strategy than you normally see, and that's causing things to be a little bit of a different battle already. Now, this four-pointer, well, he's still trying to engage. Ooh, what's going on here? Spain and Prussia. It's not factions you see fighting very often. Even some cavalry. Spain looks like they're going full. Oh, never mind. That's not Spain. That's French cavalry. Wow, Spain may have actually done some work. Now, I don't think they're going to do too well this melee yet, especially since more Prussians are pushing forward. But we can't really focus on that too much, because the real town fight seems to be about to go off. More cavalry still circling. The generals all are at a safe place to be able to give inspires and still not be shot at themselves. Russia has some nice angles, some nice flanking fire. France is still being forced into a small area. And you can see they have definitely taken some losses. But they are pushing across the river. Russia's going to have to fall back, like I said. They're going to probably, France eventually is going to box them into this portion of the town. And I'm assuming Russia's eventually going to have a line along here and along here. Maybe out to here, but France is probably going to be ringing fire all the way around this river. Just trying to outshoot them, I would assume. The melee's not going to be super amazing. Now let's go back to this fight here. Oh, man, I really did miss it. Okay, so that Spanish bayonet charge did break those Prussians, and this Dragoon unit broke the other musketeers for Prussia. So Prussia's actually on the back leg here against Spain. But he has a good portion of his army. The tough part is going to be he's going to be in two spots at once. So that's actually going to be kind of a difficult fight, hopping between two different fights all at once. The nice thing, though, is this is going to be a smaller area, so having 2 players versus 3 players, it's not going to matter too much. There's only so many troops you can push in. Ooh, Russia may be getting a nice little flanking fire using this wall. This is cheeky. Russia going for bayonet charge. Look at this flanking. Oh my goodness, that's a beautiful flank. Now, France obviously is not going to let that stand. They're going to immediately push up. Now I'm surprised Russia hasn't pushed up a troop just to kind of flank that. Technically, they can push troops all along here. Oh, we have a bayonet charge. Some cavalry, though, getting a flank off on that French infantry charging uphill into the Russian lines. Over here, oh wow, that's a lot of cavalry still. Murat obviously has some cavalry over here as well. Looks like Prussia, maybe just because of the heavy cav presence, they could always fall back as needed. And that's a totally secluded fight compared to the rest of this. Now I do see France did break, but Russia's wavering, and more French troops, more columns pushing across the bridge. Over here, also a full-out melee now. Looks like Russia may have gone in for melee. As France tries booking it across the road. Russia trying to stop them in front of the church. And, yeah, it's looking a little rough. Sweden now pushing up some infantry to help support. I'm surprised they haven't tried going for a flanking fire here. You know, pushing troops right here and then starting to pour on the flank. Now, of course, France probably is considering that could be a possibility. And so they are being very cautious about that. France has still to make it past where they have before. Now, the line is drawn. I'd say these block of houses are kind of that line. They obviously, France has taken it to the other side of the road almost. There's a lot of troops still here. Now, France has a lot of cavalry. I'm not sure where they're planning on pushing. I don't think they realize these guys can form square. Hopefully, Bagration notices. Oh no, he doesn't notice.
Our men are running, sir.
But once again, guys, the Russians just pull the French towards the LOC and it's over. Some grenadiers from Sweden holding the line. They still managed to hold this town. I mean, they have not lost big in it yet. Over on this side, oh, we have a cavalry engagement potential. Oh man. Okay, so it does look like the coalition are making a big cav play. Oh, big cav engagement. Those cuirassiers taking a huge tank here to let the coalition push around. And then Prussia even getting some flanking fire, even pushing forward. The coalition need to win this cav engagement if they want to win this battle, I think. They need to they need to build a focus on just the town fight. There we go, so they do break that, so they are starting to slowly but surely use their superior numbers to be able to break up this French cavalry force. More cuirassiers engaging with 2 dragoon units. Let's see if we get a flanking charge by the dragoons of Russia, and we will. Huge cav fight. I know there's stuff happening there. I'll get to it in a second. It does look like France is starting to lose on that. They're falling back already from that flanking charge. Sweden pushing across the river to put more. They're putting a lot more pressure on the French flank, making things a lot more difficult. France has pushed up to the LOC. I'm assuming, yeah, some musketeers are going to go for a bayonet charge. They break him with some nice flanking fire as well. This has just been a really rough attack right in this area by this LOC. Sweden is still pushing here, guys. Counterattacking. He's got more light infantry in here. He's going to force the French to have to fall back. France is kind of getting spread a little thin. I missed Murat's cav charge. Wow. Wow. Sweden just got swept back. 3 units just broke instantly, and now France may actually be counterattacking. Oh, you can't go back across the river. He's just going to bayonet charge you in the back. Oh, this is devastating. This is going to be devastating. Oh, man. Poor Sweden. Oh, wait. They're bayonet charging instead. Okay, don't ever retreat across the river with the enemy right behind you. They're just gonna bayonet charge you. You better to kind of maybe stand your ground a little bit. This is kind of calmed off a little bit, but France is kind of utilizing the fact that there's no cavalry really probably over here to help out. Sweden managed to get some of the troops across, but France is actually pushing across the river now. Over here, still that melee by the church and the surrounding buildings. Sweden did lose probably some flanking fire from France. There's a lot of reserves from Bagration still waiting to even fight here, and it looks like most of the French army has been engaged. And keep in mind, guys, it's a cav corps for the Imperials, so it's going to be a lot tougher in some ways for them to actually deal with. Ooh, the artillery may actually break, but there's a lot more infantry on the coalition side than there is on the French side. And that's because the French have cavalry, but if the cav do work like they should, then they make up for having not as much infantry. Now the cavalry is pushing back across here. I mean, they were engaged with that massive cav engagement, but now they're going to be pushing back. France is I'm assuming they're having to rest up a little bit. I mean, they are. Man, this has been a very atrocious. Is that a word? Atrocious fight for them. And they have not made a whole lot of gains. The lines still are almost at the same spot they were. Maybe, you know, maybe the French have taken a little bit more of this church now than they had before. But still, I'm not seeing a lot of change. And even though France made a win here, there was a reinforcement 13-pointer. A lot more Prussians who can push. Now Spain can start pushing here, but you know, the Prussians have a contingent that can stay and fight. At least delay them. And there's not a lot of squares being formed here by square capable troops. Hurts my soul. I know, there's probably a lot happening in the field, obviously. Uh-oh. Hans is gonna die to a cav. Oh, wait, never mind. The Prussians are gonna save him, doing a back charge on that Dragoon, breaking them instantly. Look at the death. That's almost all French casualties littering the road. That is a very, very sobering look. Russia still putting pressure on the French army, trying to counterattack here by the church. More and more troops pushing here. France has reserve. They're going to start pushing forward as well. Got some grenadiers in here. They may have to call them up pretty soon. What France needs is a mass route triggered. You know, that's what they need. They need to trigger a mass route, which will then cause all the Russians just break mutually and fall out of the town, and then they can take it. But they need to actually get that shock to morale. Here we go. We got some grenadiers pushing forward. Russia, fire. He's right in front of you. Oh my gosh, both sides. Oh man. I think, oh there we go, a bayonet charge. Forward a volley, do bayonet charge. Ooh, French routing. Man, this is not going well. Just the ring of fire. Just all around this French army. It's been so tough for them. There's so many different sides that the Russians could shoot them from. It'd be almost as bad as if the Russians had each building garrisoned with Russians that were just pouring in fire. You had to bayonet charge each individual one. Spain's kind of, unfortunately, the four-pointer, you know, maybe his job was just to distract. I mean, he's definitely done his job, if that was the job. But he's not able to push, really. And France is going to start running out of men. Yeesh. There are some Russians in here, but I see a lot more French dead. Come on, officer, get a shot. Yeah! Oh, that's cool. Wish I was a screenshot though. That would have been a perfect shot. This has definitely not been the... it's been pretty fast-paced in some areas, but it's starting to slow down, I feel like. At least for the Imperials, it's starting to slow down. We have some Kazakis getting charged. Dang, got a kill. Oh, we got instantly. Yeah, Prussia has a lot of troops here, as grenadiers as well, musketeers. Sweden even has troops left, and like I said, there's still, Bagration has reinforcements just sitting here defending other places. They can easily pull into the town. Oh, are we seeing a retreat? I think France is retreating from the town. After about, 20 minutes roughly of fighting, not even, maybe 15 minutes of fighting. Or 10, the French are pulling out of the town. Obviously, they'll have a vanguard or a rear guard to defend the retreating troops, and probably maybe they're gonna try a different angle of attack. Maybe they really need to find a place where they can use Murat to great effect with their line infantry. Murat's kind of useless in this town. Maybe they're gonna try to hit the Prussians and then use after that some superior numbers. I mean, they still have 35 minutes remaining. They can still shift targets, and so long as they move decisively, they can still win. There's even a drummer that's been killed. Man. Probably be way worse if they had drummer boys instead of just, an adult drumming. It'd be pretty sad to see. I mean, realistically, they did use kids, for the drums and fifes and that sort of thing. And they died just playing an instrument, which is kind of sad, Be a very sad thing to see. And no one forms squares anymore. We'll see if this artillery gets sniped by some cavalry. Did France even bring artillery? Oh, Russia's going on the offensive here, pushing in behind the French line that was engaging the Russians. And now the rear charge. Now France is going to push troops across. Try to reinforce that line, but I think it's a little bit too late for them. Man, it's starting to fall out into the side of the town now. The rear guard is getting hit pretty hard.
Our men are running.
But it was like France is going to, did the artillery get killed? Yeah, it did. And another artillery piece is about to be dead as well. Alright, they form a square that may kill that cavalry. I'm starting to say, though, I think this is going to be a coalition victory by LOC. Because I don't think the French have enough really to, you know, continue this fight. They may... Oh, there's some French artillery. I think the French may just pull back at this point, and then, because it's a tournament battle, and it's near the end of this tournament, near the end, neither side's going to risk, you know... This may turn into just waiting at LOCs until, you know, someone does something, although I feel like the coalition can easily push here. However, you can see they have the 2-pointer and the 3-pointer. Obviously, this map is made for the Imperials to have to attack and the coalition, for the most part, to be defensive.
Must rest a while.
After all, is historically accurate for this Battle of Friedland. What I may do... Especially if it's just going to be, you know, them marching back and nothing else happening. I may fast forward till, you know, something good happens again. That's something to do. I'll fast forward just in case, you know, something else happens. I mean, we have a small skirmish, I guess, happening here, but Spain seems to even distance themselves. I'll fast forward a little bit so we're not just sitting here watching in silence, because not much commentary even to say at that point. So we'll skip to the next little juicy bit and to go from there. Although it is like Russia is pushing pretty hard on this French army, but I think the French will get away. Alright, we have Murat starting to charge in here. Beautiful cap charge. I'm sorry, I almost totally missed it. Missed a slight little bit of the impact here. And we're gonna probably get another one, although these guys can definitely form a square. Which they do not. And Murat is starting to have a field day here. Oh, I think they actually do form a square. Still, we have a French-Spanish attack happening here while the French pull back towards their guns on this flank. I like how they use their crossyear. Oh, never mind. We have another charge. Man, Prussia should form a square. I'm gonna say, yeah, he does. Okay. unfortunately my sound bugs out when I fast forward. So I have to like switch it around. So I apologize for all the finagling. And I guess it still doesn't work. I should reinstall that audio file. CA fixing things by breaking them. Not sure what's going on with the audio again. That's been a frustration recently, hasn't it? It's like, oops. Well, last time. We'll just let it fix itself, I guess. Over time, I guess. Oh, am I missing, looks like Murat once again. This is where France are gonna excel. They have cavalry to just bully the coalition. With their infantry, and it makes up for it. This is how they should have been fighting all along versus going for the town. But still, either way, I mean, there's still 25 minutes remaining in this replay. I have to pretend we're hearing gunshots, I guess. Russia's forming up, Spain's forming up. We're starting to have like a real line battle. Finally, a real line battle, am I right? Without sound. Oh, it makes me sad. My perfectionist personality of wanting everything to be perfect, including audio, is shining through strong here. But it looks like the Russians are going to start falling back here. Probably really don't like this Murat French infantry, you know. Ooh, we have a bit of another charge here in the back lines, though. Some Spanish heavies engaging with some Prussian dragoons. And Prussia does break. Guess I have to pretend it's a painting instead here. But yeah, look at this. Look at the fire being dished out on multiple lines here. We do have a potential French bayonet charge coming on the flank. Why Sweden is definitely starting to pull back a little bit. We definitely have the Russians totally in retreat here. This Prussian artillery somehow has managed to survive a very long time.
Our men are running, sir.
Oh, who's running? Yeah, look at this. France trying to catch them before they get back into town, but they are falling back to the town. France hotly in pursuit. I mean, Russia has a lot of infantry here, but like I said, the cavalry is going to even the odds for France, which is why, you know, they are falling back into the town. They don't like those odds. Ooh, we're getting another cavalry charge against Prussia. There we go. Sound hit. Sound's going back, guys. Another 5 minutes after.
Our men are running, sir.
Skirmishers totally slaughtered here. Murat looking to try to make a huge play here. Charging, that looks like way too much infantry for that small unit. You can see though France is really pushing here. They are going full send, trying to break this coalition before the timer runs out. Coalition aren't looking as good anymore. They can still sacrifice some troops to stop this French army so they can actually get up and start defensive lines. France is really winning here, but it is definitely a race to get troops back into the town. That way France can't actually make it without having a ton of resistance. France is making a comeback though. I am still seeing a small army though from Russia still in the town, and France is definitely running low on troops, and Murat is not going to be able to assist them anymore.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest awhile.
Looks like some repeated cavalry charges from Murat. Finally, they do break. But it looks like France will not be able to follow them into the town. And I suspect the coalition's going to stay in the town now. They're probably like, yeah, okay, we tried. We went out there. We gave it our best shot. We don't need to... I mean, man, there's a lot of troops left on this corner. I'm talking about a lot of troops left. Even cavalry left. The coalition's definitely very dangerous still. They just haven't consolidated together yet. I suspect now will be that time that they will. Got a lot of free, open ground, a lot of reinforcements even. This fight has not gone... I mean, the French have had some really good smaller victories, but ultimately the big victory doesn't seem to really coming through for them. I think once we look at results, I bet you we'll both see just how many forces were brought on each side, and I suspect the coalition brought a lot more. And that may be a crucial piece of this fight, especially considering there's that there's a lot of town fighting that was happening. A Cav Corps isn't going to really be effective, like I said. see. I think we're going to see a coalition attack now. I think Murat's probably getting very weak, very low, and I think the coalition now have their cavalry. They have cuirassiers, dragoons, some Ulani. They even have some more dragoons and Ulani in the back. It's like a French unit fighting over here. Probably trying to go for some LOCs. Bane's been fighting for quite some time. He only has about 6 units left, so he's getting pretty low. A little bit depleted here. France almost entirely falling back. They do have a gun battery here. In order to win, guys, in the next 15 minutes, they have to mass rout a coalition of double their size, take the town of LOCs. Seems like maybe a little bit too much for them to try to take on with how depleted their armies seem to be. That's quite the shot. Oh, we have a general getting sniped. It's a brave bayonet charge saving the general. Ooh, still some cavalry in this fight, still for the French. They just keep appearing out of nowhere. I'm not sure if it's the last little force and they just keep shuffling it back and forth between the two sides. And honestly, there's not a whole lot I really can say right now, so I'm just enjoying the sights. Yeah, because I'd rather have something meaningful to say about what's happening in the replay versus just narrating the obvious. I already do that enough. But kind of, I think maybe the French are trying to just delay the game and then rush for LOCs in the last second so they can take an LOC victory and still take the win on this field. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, or they're just, you know, waiting for an opportunity, maybe trying to consolidate forces all together and hit the coalition where they're weakest. Just brainstorming what they maybe try to do. They do not have enough LLCs, that much I do know. So I'm not sure if they plan on just fighting it to the bitter end. If they keep pouring a volley then retreating, pouring in a volley then retreating. Yeah, unless there's a French force sitting right over here just waiting. There's not a lot you can do except for watch this the Spanish army holding the center and this right flank falling back. I mean, Spain looks like they're going to fall back too. They could fall back into the tree line. That would probably give them a little bit more hope of a defense or a stronger defense. They still have some cavalry. So do the coalition, so it's not like it's going to be super easy.
Our men are running, sir.
Square gets formed. Cavalry does break, though. We do have a Spanish cav charge. Getting just absolutely brutalized. Not even making the line yet. They do make impact, but then they instantly break. Here we go, though. France is pushing on this flank. Obviously, you can see cavalry rushing forward to reinforce. And those are grenadiers. Now we do have, I believe, a French unit here. Maybe he's trying to go for an LOC, a cheeky LOC. I mean, this is a light infantry unit, so very good shooting stats. Not as much on the melee side. Obviously, there's still some reinforcements guarding all the entry points to Friedland. And then you have some grenadiers, some Swedish grenadiers in the town kind of holding it. They obviously don't want to lose it. And of course, you have more Russians now pushing back across. They're just going to probably garrison Friedland. Make sure that they keep that LOC. Another cav charge crashing it against the musketeers. You do have more cavalry pushing forward now. I don't think we need this mini-map for this. France actually getting the upper hand here.
Our
Some
men
Crossieres
are running.
crashing into the party. Ooh, those Dragoons do break. And the Prussian Crossieres actually get a huge cav charge off and just absolutely shatter this advancing French line. But France is still going to persist, and they obviously are going to also go for an LOC here. With some Grenadiers, so I think they'll be able to take it. This is going to be a close one, even with LOC. French cavalry going deep into the Prussians' right flank here. They are actually making some real gains here on the field. But even if the coalition loses here, Friedland is still being held as long as they take this 2-pointer and hold it. Actually, though, that could be the danger. They could lose the 2-pointer, especially the general here to inspire Grenadiers fighting light infantry.
Our men are running, sir.
Oh, you got the officer. Ooh. My goodness, he's racking up the kills. Oh, wow. That's all it took for the officer of that Grenadier Battalion to, Ooh. More and more Russian cavalry. See, having cav this late in the game is such a huge part of this defense now. The French cannot get close without getting hit by Russian infantry now. These light infantry are still holding their own for now. Actually looks like it is not going well for... Oh, wow. No, they broke them.
Our men are running, sir.
And another unit goes in. Give this unit a medal. 49 men going up against multiple lines. Even Spanish Grenadiers pushing forward. I think they realized they need to take this LOC. Obviously, that's why Prussia's pushing over reinforcements, Grenadiers. Even if they lose it, they still have a little bit of time. 3 minutes remaining. They can still push in and take it. This fight's becoming less meaningful, and obviously the fighting is starting to shift more into this 2-pointer. And as you can see, that's all it's going to take. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3 other points stretched out. But if they have these two, that's 5 points versus 1, 2, 3 points. So the 2-pointer is just gonna, be a crucial point in this. Looks like we have the coalition getting intercepted, though, by some French. Man, these guys have been fighting for a very long time. Even cavalry, though, crashing down. Everybody's shifting over to this direction. You see the Russians, the Prussians, the French. Some Russian cavalry causing a mass rout for this Imperial force. And here we go. Grenadiers going to be contesting with some flinty fire, though. They actually help this Grenadier do hold. This is a very crucial wall to be careful for some really crazy fast fire into this Imperial line. I'm assuming this is Murat doing what he can. His men going and charging into the rear of the Grenadiers. Where is he? Oh, is this him right here? Either that or he's a Spanish general. Either way. The masses of the coalition are advancing. France didn't have trouble being able to just shift troops to keep pouring into this LOC, especially since Prussia has sent a grenadier and some musketeers over on this side, really supporting that fight. We got a cap charge. Oh, it got just shot to pieces. Now, let's not forget this French line that is, well, trying to push. Quite honestly, this is the only hope of Friedland, this one light infantry unit. All Russia has to do is bayonet charge them. That's it. Man, this is becoming a bloodbath. Oh. It ends there, and not a draw. Of course, it is a coalition victory. Another coalition victory. I think I've had a lot of those recently. You know, what are the odds? You know, happens times. Sometimes there's a bunch of coalition victories in a row, and sometimes a bunch of imperial victories in a row. Right now, we're on a coalition kill streak. So, but let me pull up the results here so you guys can see, you know, the kills and deaths, because it was quite good. But here we can see on the field here, you have Mr. Stanners. He had 995 kills. You have Al with 1260, Jacques 370, and TT Ross with 1016. On the other side, Arjun's 1225. Duke Bob Ross 941, B squared 672, and $sign 944. Yeah, some good kills. I would say some very good kills. No one had a ridiculously high amount. A lot of people almost had 1,000 or had broke 1,000, which is usually a good battle in my opinion. And but if you look at the numbers, you know, you have a Prussian army of almost 3,000 men, a Russian army of almost 3,000 men, like 200, like, you know, 28, and then of course another Russian army of basically 2,000 men, and then even the Swedish had 1,444. On the other side, I mean, 2,000, 2,000, 1,000, 1,000. So, huge numerical difference, and that may have been what cost the French the victory, just because they couldn't use their cavalry. Unfortunately, they just couldn't. In a town, it's difficult. You can't get charge bonuses. They can shoot you when you're trying to run around. It's just not the compact mass of cav. Once the coalition moved into the fields, I think they just started getting rolled, so they'd fall back to the, fall back to their defensive buildings, and France couldn't do a whole lot about it. Not till the end, and at that point they'd kind of run low on steam. So, but still a good game. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'll probably be streaming a little bit more, and I'm still doing a little bit of the field command. No, not field command. General, man, I keep calling it the wrong thing. I feel kind of bad. The Grand Battle, Napoleon Total War. Probably doing a little more of that. Probably streaming here and there too. I do enjoy the streaming again. Take a break from it, honestly, and feeling excited to get back to it. So thank you all so much for your support, even when I do not post consistent videos. I appreciate that you guys still believe in me. You know I'll be back, and of course I always will be back, even if I take a break. But you guys stay safe. Have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you all in another video.